Welcome to yet another edition of the Stats and Stacks podcast. For today, we're going over NFL Week 11. First things first, make sure you give this video a like, hit the subscribe, give a follow over on Twitter, over on Instagram, over on TikTok, wherever there's social media. There is the Stats and Stacks podcast. It's hard to believe we are more than halfway done with the NFL season, but it's been a doozy. It's been a weird one. It's been a tight race all the way through. So it's just a matter of, can we continue our DFS dominance? Can we continue to place winning bets? And honestly, can we continue to make money? That's what it all comes down to. So it's a pretty interesting week this week. A few teams on bye, nothing too crazy. But we start off with a good one on Thursday. We got the Cincinnati Bengals at the Baltimore Ravens. Ravens are 3.5 point favorites. You'll see that I'm alone this week. Our guy Tyler has some stuff to do this week. And it's honestly for the best because I do think the Ravens cover this game at 3.5. Don't tell them I said that. I think the Ravens cover here. The T. Higgins injury, I think, is huge for the Bengals. And they're just kind of getting hit with the injury bug right now anyway. Ravens decently healthy to an extent. And looking good. They're picking up steam. They're looking great. I know they just lost to the Browns, but the Bengals just lost to the Texans. So at the end of the day, I'll just side with the hometown here. DFS wise, obviously not touching it. Outside of it's not on the main slate. You can obviously do a showdown. That's where our guy Tyler kind of excels. But as of right now, I have no ultimate just choices on what to do at DFS for that game. Next game does start our main slate, though. We have the Browns going against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Browns are still 1 point favorites, even with DTR running the show. Over under at 32.5. I like the under. This game is going to be greasy. This game is going to be weird. I'll take the Steelers as dogs now with Watson out. Even if it was PJ Walker, I think I would still take the Browns, but it's essentially the Browns defense against the Steelers. And I think having DTR there means that Cooper's out. I don't want to start Amari Cooper in this matchup. You can probably start Jerome Ford in DFS, but it's not anything I'm just like obsessed with. Otherwise, you could also on the Steelers side start nobody. I think the Browns can win this game just on the defense alone. This defense may score more than the Steelers. I think the Steelers are absolute frauds. But DFS wise, I like nothing in this game. Honestly, yeah, nothing. I hate it all, and I like the under. And if anything, gun to my head, I'm taking the Steelers over the Browns here. Next game, we have the Chicago Bears going up against the Lions. Lions are 8 point favorites. The return of Justin Fields, it's not going to make a difference in this matchup. Bears, their strong suit is running it. The Lions' run defense is just vaunted run defense. It's tough to run on them. And I don't think the Bears are going to be able to do so, especially on the road. I think the Lions absolutely dismantled the Justin Fields led Bears. Over under, I guess I'll probably take the under. And DFS wise, you can start all your Lions. Fire up Sam Laporta, fire up Amon Ra. He's worth the money. The Montgomery versus Gibbs split. If you want to try it, you can. I would probably favor Montgomery in this matchup solely on the fact that he's more of the goal line guy and it's a revenge game. Bears let Montgomery walk. Now he gets to play them on a better team. I think they're going to let him get into the end zone multiple times. I actually like Montgomery a lot in this matchup the more I'm thinking about it. And you can always start Jared Goff. No one likes starting Goff, but everyone loves Amon-Ra. It makes no sense. Everyone's live here, but I do like Monty quite a bit. Bear side, nothing. I don't like any of them. Next game is one I've gone back and forth with, not too sure what to do with. We have the Los Angeles Chargers going up against the Green Bay Packers. I don't know if Jair Alexander is going to be back or not. That's huge to me because he does shadow, and Keenan Allen is their only offense in regards to pass catchers. In regards to the game, I'll take the Packers. You know, I have a sore spot for hometown dogs, and the Chargers love to blow games. So I'll actually take the Packers here in this matchup. Probably take the under. When it comes to DFS, hear me out. hear me out. Eventually, the guy is going to explode. And if there's any time for it, it's now. I think this might be, drum roll, please, a Christian Watson game. This might be the one. I'm kind of feeling it here. In regards to the run game, I still like Aaron Jones. He's perfectly fine. Yeah, I like it to be a Christian Watson game this week. Chargers side, if Jair's there, you can start Austin Eckler, and that's probably it. If Jair is not there, you can start Keenan Allen. I'm not doing the QJ experiment. I'm not doing Donald Parham or Gerald Everett or any other pass catchers. It's probably Eckler or pass. And if Jair is there, it's definitely just Eckler, and that is it. But Packers side, man, I like Christian Watson. He has a good price. And I think this is finally going to be the week. All right, next game, we have the Raiders going up against the Miami Dolphins. Dolphins are 13.5-point favorites, and it's justified, but I'm going to take the Raiders to cover here. Raiders are scrappy right now under their new regime. I don't think they win the game, but I think they cover 13.5. Dolphins aren't as formidable as people think. Over under, I'll actually take the under. I think the Dolphins are going to be stopped a little bit here, even though they're coming off their bye at home. I think the Raiders are going to give them a run for their money, ultimately lose, but 13.5 is a lot of points there. I do like, obviously, you start Tua, you can start Tyreek. You can do a stack with Tyreek, Waddle, Hill. Like, you can always do that stack. If you want to start Mozart here, that's fine. I know Achane is supposed to come back. You can start all of their run. You can start every Dolphin, to be quite frank with you. Raiders side, Devontae Adams finally woke up last week. Can he do it again with Jalen Ramsey? Probably. Ramsey did not look 100%. But I'm not trusting Aiden McConnell here. I'll probably still take the Dolphins, and their run defense isn't that great. Jacobs has been letting you down as of late, but this might be a Michael Mayer and Josh Jacobs game, to be honest with you. The Dolphins are not good against a tight end. I love Michael Mayer here. Josh Jacobs is okay. And then obviously you can always start all the Dolphins, especially against the Aiden O'Connell-led Raiders. Next game, we have the New York Football Giants going up against the Washington Commanders. Commanders are, is that 8.5? Jesus. 8.5-point favorites. That sounds terrible, but they'll probably cover with Tommy DeVito, to be honest with you. Over under sitting at 37.5. Give me the under because Tommy DeVito can't score. You start no one. I can't even start Saquon at this point. Every man, every fan, everyone, every coach, everyone's in the box to stop Saquon. You can do what you can. I'll probably end up with like 50 yards and no score. Not good enough here. Not going to cut it, especially at his price. So I want 0 Giants. Commanders, if there's no Curtis Samuel, I'm going to continue to start Jahan Dotson. As long as Samuel's out, I'm starting Dotson. I think this is a good Brian Robinson game. I think he's going to find the box, and I like his price. So I'm fine with Brian Robinson. I'm fine with Jahan Dotson under the circumstance. If you want to stream Sam Howell and get crazy, you could. The Giants defense is not that good. Yeah, if you want to save some money, start Sam Howell. I don't hate Dotson with no Samuel, and I do like Brian Robinson quite a bit here. Even if you want to get contrarian, save some money with Logan Thomas, you can do that too. You can start a lot of these Commanders, honestly. All right, next game. Is this the week Tony Pollard finally does it? Finally finds the end zone. Dallas is 10.5-point favorites over the Panthers in Carolina. Over under at 42.5. I'll take the over because when Dallas wins and they decimate, they like to run up the score. And through the air, man, Dak has been passing like crazy. CeeDee Lamb's, he's seemingly unstoppable to stop. I'm gonna pick Dallas to cover here. And I'm going to take the over because they just run up the score. Panthers, they'll show a little life there. They're at home. They might get 2 scores in there. That might be enough. But I don't really want to start any of the Panthers, especially against that Cowboys defense. I would love to start the Cowboys defense. I think they're going to eat. Bryce Young's going to give them a touchdown, whether it's a fumble, a pick six. Dallas defense is going to score somehow. And CeeDee Lamb's probably going to score again. And I pray to God Tony Pollard scores. Please, Tony. Tony, look at me. Tony, look at me. Please. I think he's like 6,600. DK dropped his price again. For the love of God, Tony, find the box. I'm not going to stop until he does it. Please, please find the box. And Dak, you can stream every single week. He just keeps going off. If you want to get cheap with Brandon Cooks or get crazy with Michael Gallup, like you can. You can do Jake Ferguson. The Panthers are terrible against everything. You can start every single Cowboy, and I mean every single one. You should have big stacks. You should have a Dak, CD, Pollard, Ferguson stack. It wouldn't matter. You probably still cash. All right, next game, you have the Titans going up against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I got a little crazy with the Christian Watson call. I got a little crazy, what feels like crazy, saying Tony Pollard's going to find the bots. I think this is a Calvin Ridley game. Call me crazy. I think Jacksonville wins here pretty comfortably. And I think this is the type of game where we see Calvin Ridley expose really, really, really battered and depleted secondaries. Titans secondary's trash. And I think this is one where they're coming off Jaguars coming off an embarrassing L. They're going to get one of their new weapons and stars involved, especially in a matchup they should win against Will Levis. And I think he goes crazy. I think it's a good Ridley game. I think it's a great game to start Trevor Lawrence because even if it's not Ridley, it's going to be Kirk. If it's not Kirk, it's going to be Ingram. Like somebody's going to go off here. Could it just be Travis Etienne? Yeah. But the Titans are generally a tough matchup against the run. So I'm not really looking Etienne's way. I think it's a Trevor Lawrence go nuts game. And I don't know if it's Ridley. I don't know if it's Kirk. I don't know if it's Ingram, or I don't know if it's all three. I might have a stat going on with Jacksonville's pass catchers, but I love Trevor Lawrence this week. He's probably going to be like one of my most played quarterbacks. Titan side, nobody. Don't like him. If you have to run it back because you really believe in the Jags, I'm going to go ahead and do what I did last week. I'm going to take Hopkins. He had an off week last week. I think he bounces back. I don't think Derrick Henry does. Jacksonville's run defense is pretty good. Not a good matchup for Henry. I'm all in on Jacksonville going up. I think that the Tennessee Titans are going to have to pass. I think it's going to go to Hopkins. I think he'll be okay. And I think he's the only way to run it back for the Jacksonville stacks. Next game, we have the Arizona Cardinals versus the Houston Texans. Houston's 5-point favorites. I understand that, especially at home, but I think this might be the shootout of the week. Over under at 40.5. I'll take the over. I think this is the shootout. I like everything here because both these defenses are terrible and both these offenses are explosive. Last week, I loved Marquise Hollywood Brown. Kyler just missed him on multiple attempts. Like Marquise could have had a huge day, but Kyler just by the skin of his teeth missed him in the end zone like at least 2 times that I saw. So could have been a 2-touchdown week for Marquise. Instead, he hit us with like 3.5 points. I think he's going to bounce back. I think he's going to go crazy. We saw Kyler just stare down Trey McBride. I love that. He's still at a decent price. Give me Kyler. Give me Trey McBride. Give me James Conner. Give me Hollywood Brown. Houston Texans run defense is terrible. I love James Conner here. Give me Kyler. I love everything about the Cardinals. On the other side, Houston, TJ Stroud cannot be stopped. Nico Collins, no problem. Tank Dell went crazy. I like Tank Dell. Nico Collins, he should be back this week. I like Nico Collins. If Damian Pierce is still out, I love Devin Singletary. And quite frankly, I think I'm going to use Devin Singletary regardless because of that price tag. Even when Pierce was there, Singletary is getting more and more work, and you're not going to take work away after he just went off last week against the Bengals. So I love Singletary. You can run so many stacks where these games are just going against each other. You can have Kyler, Marquise, and McBride, and on the other hand, have a cheap Singletary, have a Nico Collins or Tank Dell, and then stack some other positions. Like you have cheap players that are going to go off in a shootout, and it's going to leave you money for studs. Like this is the game to target. This is the one. I love everything on every side there. I'll pick the Cardinals as dogs. I'll take their money line. I think they can pull off the upset on the road. If Kyler is back 100%, they are live. I love the Cardinals bet. I love the over, and I am targeting this game with a passion on DFS. Next game, we have the Buccaneers versus 49ers. Over under at 41.5. I'm gonna take another over here. I do like the 49ers to win, but I don't think they cover the 11.5. Bucks offense can explode at any point, and honestly, Baker's terrible under pressure. I think that it's gonna be 49ers domination. and then a lot of Bucks garbage time that's going to hit the over and ultimately help dynasty value, or not dynasty, DFS value. So the 49ers, although their defense is always scary and Baker's really bad against the rush, and the 49ers do rush and they're in your face a lot, he's not good there. But if he has any semblance of time, their secondary is not that good. And again, if you have Evans and you have Godwin on the outside, you always have an opportunity. If they like their rookie, Trey, whatever his name is, they like that rookie. So I don't know. I think the 49ers are going to get up. I think they're going to dominate. And then I think you're going to see a lot of garbage time and a lot of points go on the board. So you can start Evans, you can start Godwin. I probably lay off on Baker, which sounds weird, but I probably would. CMC, you can always start. Do I want to pay the price for CMC this week? No, I think I'm going to fade CMC this week. But if you want to play him, I get it. He's going to be especially mad he didn't score last week. So he's probably going to try to do it this week. Just put 7 on the board already. And then Debo should go crazy. Ayuk should go crazy. If you want to play Purdy, you can. Kittle can go crazy. Like the Bucks secondary is pretty banged up and pretty rough right now. So as much as I love the Bucks receiving core, I think the 49ers receiving core is going to go crazy too. I really, really, really like. I think Ayuk finds the box. Debo hasn't been there in a while. I think they both do. So if you want to stream Purdy, you can. Next game. The Buffalo Bills going up against the New York Football Jets. Bills, Vegas won't quit them. They're still 7-point favorites. Don't bet that. Please, for the love of God, we don't cover. If anything, I am going to still take the Bills to win this game, but I do not think they cover the 7. With the departure of Kevin Dorsey, I think Josh is going to go crazy. They're going to let him run. They're going to let him make decisions, and I think he's going to throw a lot. I think there's going to be more turnovers. So I think you can start the Jets D here. I do like the under, but I think the Bills win by like 3 or 4 points. I like their money line. It's like minus 290 or something like that. I like that a whole hell of a lot better than the 7. DFS wise, I'm staying away from this. If you want to start anyone, it's Jets D. You can start Garrett Wilson because our secondary is still banged up and will be for the rest of the year. So if you want to start Garrett Wilson, you can, but I don't think he finds the box. I think he ends up with like 7 for 90. I think Diggs is going to end up with like 70 yards. I think Josh is going to have a few rushing touchdowns, but ultimately have a lot of turnovers as well. So I think it's going to be a low scoring affair that the Bills win at home, but a close one. So the pick is Buffalo. The bet's Buffalo money line. DFS, I don't really want to touch anyone. Next game, I probably will touch this one. I like the Seahawks offense. I like the Rams offense. I like to target both of their past defenses. They're not great. The Rams are home dogs. I like that. If Stafford's back and he's healthy enough, I will end up ultimately betting the Rams here. Over under at 46.5. I'll take the over. Again, I think it's going to be an offensive shootout. I love that Texans Cardinals game. I really am kind of growing on this one. If Stafford is legitimately back, I need to make sure he's okay. I'm not doing this with Carson Wentz, but with with Matt Stafford, I will. If Stafford's there, you can fire up Cooper Kupp, you can fire up Puka Nacua. Kyron Williams, I think he still has 1 more week here, which means they have to pass. So I like Puka and Kupp. I will stack both with Stafford possibly. I know that the Seahawks receivers have been banged up, but they've been banged up all season and playing through it. JSN is finally starting to wake up and come into his own. So I don't hate Geno here as a streamable quarterback. And I like all their receivers. Ken Walker, I don't know what's going on with that Walker Charbonnet split. Walker saved his week with that 60-yard touchdown. That's all he did last week. So I'm staying away from Ken for now. And I'm just starting the receivers on both sides, honestly. Next game, we have the Minnesota Vikings, the night game going up against the Broncos. We're no longer in the main slate. So let's fixate on the bet, which is going to be the Vikings here. Broncos are the product of recency bias, being 2.5-point favorites. They beat the Bills, they beat the Chiefs. But both of those are because their defense had 5 and 4 turnovers. And some of those turnovers, most out of those 9 turnovers, I would literally say like 6 of them were self-inflicted. It's not that the Broncos did anything great. The Bills and the Chiefs just turned the ball over themselves, and the Broncos took advantage. More power to them, but they didn't really do anything. They didn't do much on offense. Like they still don't look good to me. The Vikings also not that great, but they're playing their hearts out. They have an extreme will to win, and they have the MVP and Josh Dobbs apparently right now, and they are on a roll. Justin Jefferson may come back this week. We're still looking to see, but he was activated and he almost played last week. So I'm thinking Jay Jettas is probably coming back. And if that's the case in the showdown slate, I'm not touching him yet. I need to see a week of him healthy. But you can start Dobbs with his rushing upside. Broncos side, I like Javonte here. But again, showdown, I don't really specialize and I'm fixating on the bet. The bet is definitely going to be the Vikings as dogs. Never trust them. Certain teams should just never be favorites this year. Panthers, Broncos should never be favorites. So pick his Vikings, bet his Vikings. And over under, I'll take the under. And the last game of the week is going to be a good one, man. Eagles Chiefs. I think it's a fun game. Chiefs are 2.5-point favorites, and I'll take the dog here. Eagles are technically the best record in the league. Technically on paper, the best team in the league. The problem with the Eagles is their secondary is terrible. Wide receivers are definitely exploiting that, but the Chiefs don't have any wide receivers. And the Chiefs are liable to lose at home. They lose at home all the fucking time. So at the end of the day, I will take the Eagles here. Chiefs defense has looked great, but it's dog or pass in this situation. Over under at 45. I'll take the over. Both teams can explode. But Mahomes under pressure, Eagles with no secondary, but the Chiefs have no receivers to take advantage. That's what it comes down to. I'm not trusting MVS. I'm not trusting Kadarius Toney with Mahomes running for his life. So the pick is going to be the Eagles. The bet's going to be the Eagles. I'll take the over. And that is week 11. Again, the Falcons, Colts, Patriots, and Saints are on bye. Only one of those that matter are really just the Saints. So there should be a lot of points on the board. A lot of unders have been hitting all year. I think that changes this week. You have a ton of overs, excluding like the Cleveland game and some other ones where there's just backup quarterbacks and such. But I think it's going to be a fun week. I think it's going to be a profitable week. And as long as we make money, it's a great week. Let's get it.